We're about to begin the services for Mrs. Gertrude Kaufman. We want to welcome everyone here at the chapel, as well as those of you that are viewing the service online. For those of you present here at the chapel, if you have a cell phone with you, please place it in the silent mode or turn it off completely. That would be appreciated. Officiating this afternoon will be Rabbi Yael Zimmerman.
In a small town in Europe some years ago, they heard that there was a traveling person who was coming to that town who was known as a wonder worker, a faith healer, somebody who could do miracles. And so one fellow made sure that he had made an appointment with him on a Saturday night. And the fellow went to this miracle worker and said, "I've got a problem with my hearing. I wonder if you can help." And the man thought for a moment, put his hands on the head of this gentleman and silent prayer for a few moments. And after that, the wonder worker said to the gentleman, "And now how is your hearing?" And the man said, "Well, how should I know? It's not till next Tuesday at Town Hall, City Hall." So I happen to be not a wonder worker. In fact, though I am an ordained rabbi, I'm not a professional rabbi. To Gitti, I'm a professional cousin. And in fact, even a little bit more, a professional friend, more than just a cousin. I inherited from my parents two different things. From my father, I inherited the gift of kibitzing. For those of you who don't know, kibitzing means to sort of joke around and have a lot of fun. But I inherited from my mother her love for Gitti and Tootsie. They were both first cousins because the fathers of both of them were two brothers, the Roffe family. And when my mother, who was the older cousin, passed away, it was my turn to take up the love for Gitti and Tootsie. And so we did. My family, we would call all the time. We would come and visit, bring donuts, bring sandwiches in the old house, the next house, and the next house, wherever she would go, something. And she had a special quality that I don't think I ever told anybody, but most of you would know if you know her. When I meet people, I like to ask questions. If I talk, I know what I'm going to say. I don't learn anything. So I like to ask questions. But with Gitti, it was a battle of who could ask the most questions. I would try to ask, how's Carlos? Gail hurt her leg. How's her leg? How are things going with the family? And it was a battle that I never won. She always won. Her memory was phenomenal. She would ask how my son in Chicago, we have kids all over the whole world, and so she would know all of them. She would always ask how this one's doing, how that one's doing. When the war broke out in Israel, I was my daughter in Israel, so I couldn't win. It's something I always tried, but I never did win. I am actually a real estate broker, and some years ago when her eyes started getting bad, I sold her condo, but instead of getting an ordinary closing gift, my wife and I gave her and Marla a trip to Lake Geneva, and we went on a boat cruise around the lake, and then we saw a magician, a very great magician, and that was the type of fun relationship we had. The family that she had was so special to her. You'll hear from the children, from the grandchildren, her love for the family. But the fact is that my family, as an extended family, just continued that on. And even the kibitzing, it went both ways. For example, she often told me, I have children all over the world, but you're not allowed to travel. You can't go out of town because I never know when my time is going to come. And if you're out of town, can't be. You have to do the officiating. My kibitzing back to her, I would often say to her when I called, especially in recent times, now tell me, Gitti, which parts of you today are not quite working so well? Which parts are aching? Your feet, your eyes, your ears, the vertigo, the back. Unfortunately, as the years went on, there were more and more parts that went not so great. But very unusual that her memory was phenomenal, even though the body was going and going and going. I'm going to conclude my talk with giving you a secret that nobody knows. This is a secret that at 2:07 today, there's going to be a solar eclipse. Now, you may not have heard it, but now you all know. And the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, says that we should learn something from everything that happens in the world. And so they have two lessons that we can get from this solar eclipse. The one is that just moments before, it's very light. And all of a sudden, in 1 second, it can get dark. And that can teach us that just a short time ago, we had Gitti with us, and the light that she had was part of all of us. And in 1 second, it was gone. But the other part of the eclipse is that moments later, there is light again. And that is that right now, Gitti is in heaven. She is pulling strings. She's making things happen so that the blessings will come to all of her loved ones, all of her family, and all of her relatives, and all of her friends. And so the light that will come to us, all of us, from being beloved by Gitti will be there. The family now would like to make some talk about their experiences with Gitti. I don't remember exactly who, but I'm going to turn over the podium, the mic, to some of the members of the family who can talk about their recollections of their Gitti.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Oh, I guess I'm a little louder than I thought. I'm Melanie. I know some of you and some of you I don't, but I'm Bubby's granddaughter. I have a long speech, so bear with me, guys. She was kind, compassionate, and gentle all the time. She was witty, funny, and just simply fun, and she made daily life happen with a smile and a quick laugh, even when nobody felt like it. She was wise and stern when she needed, and boy, did she make you know it with a look. But overall, she was lovely and lovable in every sense of the words, and she made you feel it just by being in her presence. I don't think there's enough words to describe just how truly magnificent of a human she was, be it a mom, aunt, cousin, Bubby, Gigi, or just a sweet friend. Everyone here holds a special piece of Bubs, and their hearts and minds she'll always be there, turning a now watery smile up at just how awesome having her in our lives was. I can't really pick a favorite memory to talk about because now all of them are. But there was a time when I hated the skin of grapes, and she would give me a look and help me peel all of them. Or when we forgot to put sugar in the mandel bread and they tasted like glorified dirt sticks. And then on a more serious note, to the night when I came home with Carter, and she held him for the first time and appointed point to talk about it for weeks and months and years of how proud she was and how much she loved him. Moments like that are what make this time of reflection a little less sad and a little more joyful, knowing I got to experience all the big and little moments of and with her. Though I want to be selfish and say that I wanted her to live forever, because I did, and I can't be the only one thinking that she might have possibly done it. But bodies aren't made to do that. And I know in my heart that she's better being free with the one that with the one who now has her. She really loved God, and man, does God love her. For all those here today, because of her and the love that was poured out over and through her life, and now into all of ours. I'm better because of her, and I know a lot of us wouldn't and couldn't be here without her. It's going to be a roller coaster of emotions going through this life with such a big piece of it missing. And I've never said goodbye, and I never have, and I'm never going to. So like I've always said, I'll see you tomorrow, Bubs. Now, it wasn't a secret that she didn't like her musical therapy lady. Not that she wasn't a sweet person. She really was a really sweet person, but she just didn't like her voice or how she played guitar. And she would come every Tuesday or whenever she needed to, and she just did that. And she would say, "Oh, that's nice, honey, but you can go now. I have a headache." So hopefully this last song will reach her and make her laugh and smile, because I really think she made my life a full circle. I sang it at my first karaoke, and I'll sing it for her lastly. It's Annie's Tomorrow. And feel free to sing with me so I don't sing it alone, acoustic. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrows till there's none. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I'll just take up my chin and grin and say, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. You're only a day away. And that's it, guys.
Melanie, that was beautiful. I would have sung with you, but it was hard. Well, I mean, plus, I can't sing that high. Well, I look around and I see a almost packed room, but I know for a fact that because Bubby outlived pretty much all of her friends, this room would be so packed, there'd be a line all wrapped around this entire place with how many friends Bubby had made through the years. She was the most gregarious, fantastic person and could make a friend like that. I mean, I used to hear stories about when she used to work at Jewel and people would wait in lines, her line, because they wanted to just say hi to Bubby. That's who she was. She was just an amazing person. Full of friendships, full of life. Bubby was born before the Great Depression. She lived through a lot: World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, 9/11, global war on terror, to name a few. She's seen a lot. She's been here with us for a long time, and she got to experience a lot through the many years. And I can't even imagine what that experience must have looked like, because I know she never used a computer, but she did have an iPhone. And sometimes she would call me and she'd say, "Did you call me?" And I say, "No." She goes, "Oh, it must have been somebody else." Okay, thanks, Dominique. So, like Melanie, there are so many memories. I mean, I can't go through them all because I know you all would be here all day long, because Bubby and I spent a lot of time together, and I'm very grateful for that. But she would take me shopping on Devon, let me pick out a toy. We had so many family gatherings. You saw a bunch of them on the photos here today. We'd go to the beach off of Sheridan. She'd lug all this stuff with us. We had so many plastic things to play with at the beach. It was awesome. She had this back room at their house off of Sheridan, and it was just full of toys. Me and Jack would go there. We'd have our favorite things. Jack would get Captain Crunch. I get mac and cheese or hot dogs with baked beans, because that's not up my mom's alley. That's not what we'd eat at the Kaufman, my dad's house. So we'd eat it at Bubby's house. I will never forget her dancing to Lady Gaga at Marissa's wedding. It is so ingrained in my mind that it's like one of my favorite things, that I just want to smile and think of something happy. I think of her dancing to Lady Gaga, and she was awesome. My mom and I went to Spain, and Bubby came with us, and we were sitting around, and Bubby didn't speak Spanish, but it did not matter. Like, she could tell, she could sense the laughter, the energy in the room, and we would translate to her what we're saying. And my other grandma, my abuela, was there too. And we started, the three of us, my mom, my Spanish grandmother, and I were laughing. And she's like, "What are you saying? What are you saying?" And we told her what we were saying, and she started laughing so hard, she started crying, and she said, "I just peed my pants." To which we had to translate to my Spanish grandma, who I think she also peed her pants. It was these are the things when I want to think of happy times. There's a lot that I could pull from memories with Bubby. because she was just that fantastic. But that's how I'll remember her, laughing. I would call her sometimes on the phone, and she and I would start talking, and she'd laugh so hard that she'd be like gasping for air, and not because she was old, it's just because that's how she was. Like, just her laugh was so contagious, and I would start laughing, and Aunt Marla might be in the background, and she might start laughing, and we just could not stop laughing. That's how she was. It was contagious. Jenna said today she was the most well-loved member of our family, and there's no doubt about it. She brought us all together all the time. She was that connector. This is what's doing what's going where, what's happening here and there. She always knew, smart, till the day that she died, really, is just so with it. That's such a blessing. I mean, I always felt so bad when I would talk to her and she'd say, this hurts and that hurts and whatever. But then she'd say, but how are you doing, Dolly? And I'd say, oh, I'm doing great. And she'd say, oh, how is Heather doing, my best friend from high school? How is John? How are the kids? She remembered everybody. And just if I could have like a tenth of her memory today, I would be happy. Bubby was so full of life, so full of laughter, the dancing, the laughing. That's how I will always remember Bubby. I hope that's how you'll always remember her too. So thank you for coming today.
I used to be 6'5", but get older, you start shrinking a little bit, and spine compresses. I have to adjust the microphone, Dominique. Before we leave for the cemetery, it's customary to say at least one psalm, and the Psalm 16. A michtam by David. Watch over me, O God, for I have put my trust in you. You, my soul, have said to God, you are my master. You are not obligated to benefit me. For the sake of the Holy ones who lie in the earth, and for the mighty, all my desires are fulfilled in their merit. Those who hasten after other gods, their sorrows shall increase. I will not offer their libations of blood, nor take their names upon my lips. The Lord is my allotted portion and my share. You guide my destiny. Portions have fallen to me in pleasant places. Indeed, a beautiful inheritance is mine. I bless the Lord who has advised me. Even in the nights, my intellect admonishes me. I have set the Lord before me at all times. Because he is my right hand, I shall not falter. Therefore, my heart rejoices and my soul exalts. My flesh too rests secure. For you will not abandon my soul to the grave. You will not allow your pious ones to see purgatory. Make known to me the path of life, that I may be satiated with the joy of your presence and with the bliss of your right hand forever. It is also customary to say the Keo Male Rachamim, that actually in Hebrew means God who is full of compassion. And I will read that in English, and that will conclude the prayers. So if you all please rise. El Mole Rachamim, Shochein Meromim, Hamutzai Menucha, Nechoina, Kanfe Shechina, Hamailas, Akdoshim, Batorim, Kisara Rekia, Mashirim. O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant true rest upon the wings of the divine presence in the exalted spheres of the holy and pure, who shine as the resplendence of the firmament to the soul of Gittel Bas Shmuel, who has gone to her supernatural world, for charity has been donated in remembrance of her soul. May her place of rest be in the Garden of Eden. Therefore, may the all-merciful one shelter her with the cover of his wings forever, and bind her soul in the bond of life. The Lord is her heritage. May she rest in her resting place in peace. And let us say, Amen. that concludes this part. It's something that will now be heading towards the outside, and those who will be in the procession to the cemetery, the workers here will guide us exactly which way we go. Thank you all for coming.
Please be seated for a few brief announcements. The interment will be at West Lawn Cemetery. For those of you joining in procession, our procession's forming in a parking lot. We'll make sure that we will flag the cars with a magnetic flag for the top of your vehicle, as well as an orange funeral sticker to be placed on the inside portion of your windshield. And please use your bright headlights at all times while in procession, as well as your emergency flashers. The Shiva will be here back at Chicago Jewish Funerals today upon return from the cemetery, approximately 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock this evening. And a second night of Shiva will be held Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the home of Joel and Gail Kaufman, 18339 Hood Avenue in Homewood, Illinois. All this information is listed in the service folder you received on your way in. If you did not receive one, they are available as you exit. And all this information is listed on our website as well. The following people have been selected to serve as pallbearers. When I call your name, please step forward. Jack Robello, Phil Kaufman, Justin Gakowski, Jeremy Gakowski, Steve Evans, Sean Davies, Daniel Kramer, and as honorary pallbearers, Carlos Kaufman, Marco Robello, Max Robello, and Gavin Cuto. Please rise as we escort the casket from the chapel.